Peace be with you. Welcome to the Institute of All Intelligent Life. My name is Alan Kiesler, and today is Friday, the 11th of November, 2016. Let us begin by taking a deep breath. I see my connection is weak. I hope we don't have the same problem as we did yesterday and have had in the past, but I will just begin with a deep breathing. You may join me if you like. So I want to begin by saying that peace is what is needed, and there is great need of peace, love, kindness, truth. So sometimes, myself also, we fall prey to fear and confusion. So I feel that yesterday I fell prey to those forces that are spreading fear, and in my class yesterday I unfortunately maybe was spreading fear rather than peace and love, so I decided to delete that class that I gave yesterday. So I hope you can understand this, that what we really need is peace. And of course Islam means peace, the peace that comes from surrendering to God. So I decided that this is what I want to do, is just talk about peace today, the importance of peace and the importance of being in unity in a program for spreading peace. So I'm going to say a prayer. This is a prayer that has been very, very meaningful to me, and I may talk a little bit about that. But the prayer I recited day before yesterday morning also, and I plan to repeat it often. I do repeat it often, and I hope you will meditate along with me. If you are familiar with this prayer, you can understand the meaning and meditate on that along with me as I say it. Otherwise, you can just hear the beautiful sounds. This is the Durud-i Ibrahimi. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. So this is a prayer for peace and blessings, especially upon the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and his community, which actually includes everyone. We are all part of the community of the Prophet, peace be upon him. We are all part of the community of Jesus, peace be on him. And all the great spiritual teachers of the world are united in peace. So there is a lot of fear being spread, and especially at the time of the election in the United States, there was a lot of intense emotions and fear being spread. So I also noticed yesterday that there was some troll who was making very, very disturbing comments. So I said I was going to block him, and but when I went to do that, I found that he had already deleted his troll comments. Anyway, it was a mistake I made to talk the way I did yesterday. May or may not have been true. I'm not even sure that everything I said was true, but I did hear some reports like that, and the realization I did not have was that I was feeling such great stress, and I was actually, as I said, really feeling sick at my stomach hearing that information, and I wanted to get it off my chest, and I didn't think at that time that I'm just relieving myself of my tension and my burden by putting it on you. So that was not a very nice thing to do. I'm sorry for that, and I hope to become a cause of the spreading of peace and love, not the opposite. So I am going to repeat. So once again I've lost the signal, so I was on my way going outside. So I'm trying to decide if I should go outside now and stay outside. I guess I will go out, because we do seem to get a better signal out there. So I'm going to head towards the place where I had a better signal yesterday. Alright, I think we've sort of stabilized in the signal now. So, frankly, I had not made any particular plan of what to say today. I had been praying and meditating a lot, and the conclusion that I came to is that I should just meditate on the great personalities whom I do trust and love and who have helped me so much in the past. And that's why I began with that prayer, remembering and invoking blessings and invoking the presence of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. And so I'm also thinking about meditating on Jesus, who has been my main spiritual teacher from my childhood, and other great teachers who I have had. So I'm just thinking about all of them and praying that we can spread peace and love. So I'm going to repeat that maybe several times, and I'll explain to you a little bit more about why I'm doing this. So that beautiful prayer, the Durud Ibrahimi, again, I'm going to repeat a few times. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ala Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. Allahumma salli ala barak ala Muhammadin wa ala ala Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ala Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. Beautiful prayer. I'm going to repeat it a few more times, and let us feel the presence of the Holy Prophet, peace be on him. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ala Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ala Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. Allahumma barak ala Muhammadin wa ala ala Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ala Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ala Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ala Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. Allahumma barak ala Muhammadin wa ala ala Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ala Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ala Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ala Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. Allahumma barak ala Muhammadin wa ala ala Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ala Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. So we can feel the presence of the Holy Prophet, peace be on him, when we repeat this prayer. That is my experience. I was taught that many years ago in the early 1980s by a Sufi whom I met, and told me that if you recite this prayer, repeat it, you will definitely feel the presence, attain the presence of the Holy Prophet. So that is the place of peace. And I'm telling you frankly, I had no plan for what I was going to say today. I just came to the conclusion after a lot of prayer and meditation that I should just repeat that prayer, feel the presence of the Holy Prophet, and share with you that what I feel he is sharing with us, which above all is that mood of peace and kindness. And also I just want to remember Jesus, whether one considers him this or that, he is certainly a great personality who is also spreading peace and love. So by feeling their presence and the presence of all the great spiritual teachers, we can free ourselves from those negative influences which I may have fallen prey to yesterday, the forces that are trying to spread fear and confusion. So what is the message that we really need to understand? This class I announced would be about the extraterrestrial presence and about galactic history and cosmology. I have been meditating on this a lot, and I have concluded that more important than the details of cosmic history, galactic history, the details of where different races, different species reside, which planets they come from, which star systems they come from, much more important than that is to just spread the spiritual understanding, which is the foundation of all human advancement, which basically is, and I'm going to repeat this, that we are free. We have freedom. We have free will. We can make our choice as to, are we going to move towards love and peace? Are we going to move towards service of others and service of God? Or are we going to move towards fear? Are we going to move towards selfishness? So that choice we have, that is a fact, that is a truth. We should not fall prey to the illusion that everything is so much predestined that we have no freedom. Because sometimes people come to that conclusion wrongly. Of course, there is destiny, there is kismet, but there's also freedom. And I just want to repeat one story about Hazrat Ali. He was asked this very same question about freedom. Do we have freedom? Or is there just determination? Is everything decided in advance by God? Do we have freedom to do what we want, or are we unable to really make much difference in the world? Well, we may or may not be able to make much difference in the world, but we certainly do have some freedom. And he gave this example. He told the person, raise one foot. Pick up one foot. So stand on one leg. So the person picked up one foot, and he said then, now pick up the other foot. Of course, we cannot do that. We would fall down immediately. So we have some freedom, a limited freedom, and we can choose. Do we want to move towards love, peace, harmony, friendship, truthfulness, justice, kindness, consideration for others, taking care of others, especially poor and weaker members of society? Or are we just going to turn towards our selfish considerations? Are we just going to fall prey to fear? That's our freedom. We can make that choice. So we can make that choice at every moment. And I have found, and I'm going to repeat this, that by prayer and by meditation, we can turn towards peace. We can calm our mind. If we are agitated, if we are anxious, if we are depressed, if we're confused, very simply, we can just take a deep breath, meditate, and if we like, repeat the names of God. That's what I do when I meditate. then we will quickly find ourselves becoming calm and peaceful and clear-headed. So I'm going to invite everyone one last time, and then I'm going to review the comments, to breathe in, take a deep breath in, and then slowly exhale. We may do it a couple of times just to make sure that we are reestablished in peace and harmony, and we are not going to be deceived by those who are trying to create and promote fear and confusion and a mood of fighting. We want to cooperate. We want to promote peace. So I'm going to invite you. You can close your eyes if you like, otherwise you can do whatever you like about this, but I'm going to take a deep breath, and I inhale. You can count to 8 and then count to 16 on the exhale. That's what I was taught, but I replaced that practice by repeating the name of God and counting 8 times. On my fingers I count, and then exhaling also the same way by repeating the name of God, counting 16 names. It's wonderful just to become free from all the currents of agitation that we are in. The world today is passing through a very difficult time. A lot of fear and confusion, agitation is being spread. So I'm going to do that breathing one more time. You may join me if you like. Spreading peace. I think the birds are also joining us in these prayers, and prayers for peace and love, harmony. So I'm going to just see if there are any comments, but I hope we can remain on this platform of putting this message in the forefront of everything. Peace. All right. Zahid Arif Malik says, yoga. Yoga teaches the same thing. Yes, that the purpose of yoga really is not just bodily exercises and bodily health, but is to make the mind peaceful and ultimately to connect with God. Nabi Tanvir, have a good Friday. Thank you for reminding me. Juma Mubarak. Today is Friday. Muhammad Abdul Wajid says, hi Alan, nice to see you live. Well, we want to meet you for the noble cause. Do you have some time? Yes, anyone is welcome to come and meet me here in Esparto if you live in the United States. Not too far. If you're in California, especially Northern California, you can come easily. Otherwise, I hope to come to Pakistan before too long, and most of you are in Pakistan, I know that, so I will try to make myself available to meet anyone there. I will announce here on my Facebook page when I'm coming to Pakistan and where I will be, so you can come and meet me there. Umayyad Ali, no words to praise your words. Thank you very much. This is really what we should be doing. May peace be on you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. Peace be on us all. May we all become agents of peace. Zahid Arif Malik said. Shakil Sibtain always has good comments. Assalamu alaikum. Almighty God, Allah has made us free and has given us choice. Yes, we do have freedom, We can make the choice, and let us remain clear-hearted, clear-minded, so that we can understand that we have the choice, and let us make the choice repeatedly. Let us make the choice at every moment, because we have the choice all the time. Junaid Mian, are you from Pakistan? I was a resident of Pakistan. My parents were American citizens, but they were working, actually before there was any Pakistan, they were working in Khanewal in Punjab as Christian missionaries. And I was born in 1947, before Pakistan was created. And we were actually, my parents were at that time in Mussoorie in northern India. And when partition happened, when the freedom of India and the creation of Pakistan happened on August 14th, 15th, we were there on the Indian side, and because my parents were working in Khanewal in Punjab, western Punjab, we naturally wanted to go back home to where they were working, so we did, on the very last train actually. It was September, I believe, 22nd or 3rd, something like that. So then, from 1947 until 1965, when I graduated from high school, I was a legal resident of Pakistan and spent a lot of time there, and that's why I speak Urdu like a Pakistani, because I was raised in Pakistan, so I learned how to speak Urdu. आप सब को मालूम है शायद कि मैं पाकिस्तानियों जैसे उर्दू बोलता हूँ, जैसे आप सुन सकते हैं. So I am, in one sense, from Pakistan, but have been an American citizen all my life. All right. Any other comments? Abbas Khan, thank you for loving Pakistan. Yes, I do love Pakistan. Not only because I was a resident of Pakistan throughout my childhood and youth, but because, as I've explained a number of times, from the early 1980s I had a number of wonderful experiences meeting great Sufis and personalities who let me know that Pakistan is a special place. And I've quoted this many times. I will repeat this beautiful phrase that I was taught in the town of Ghotki in northern Sindh. Early one morning I woke and bathed and was praying and meditating, and a personality came to me and taught me this in Punjabi. Pakistan da matlab hai, o Pakistan, jithe Hazuri Pak, ude Pak Musahib de naal, Islami Pak phir qaim kar denge. So I knew that Pakistan was a very special place, so I developed more and more love for Pakistan as a result of that understanding, which gradually, took a long time, gradually increased until, as I explained also several times, just last year still, in about May of 2015, I was in Lahore, and I was taught, again in Punjabi, the answer to a question that many people had asked me that I had had. What does this really mean, that Pakistan is where pure Islam will be established? That's what that Punjabi means. In case you don't understand the Punjabi, I'll translate that. It means Pakistan is that pure place where pure Islam will be reestablished by the Holy Prophet and his holy companions. So what does that mean? That means Pak Islam da matlab hai, O Pakistan jithe, excuse me, I'm repeating the same one. Islami Pak da matlab ki, this is what came to me just last year. Islami Pak da matlab ki, Shariat ya Muhabbat. Islami Pak da matlab ki, Shariat ya Muhabbat. And the answer came in the form of another question. Insani Pak da matlab ki, Jismi Khakh ya Ruhi Pak. Insani Pak da matlab ki, Jismi Khakh ya Ruhi Pak. So what is pure Islam? What does pure Islam mean? Shariat ya muhabbat, the law or love? And the answer, very, very interesting, very, very deep answer, is, what is the pure human being? The body of dust or the pure soul? So there's a lot in this very, very simple statement. And what it means very simply to me is that just as the body and the soul are both necessary, they're both two parts of the same reality. We need a body and we are a soul by identity. Our identity is spiritual, but we have a body which is also necessary. So in the same way, both the law and love are necessary, but what is clear is that, of course, the soul is more important than the body. The body without the soul is just a corpse. So from that we can understand that love is what is really important. The law without love is dead. And love is really what's important. If we have love, then law will be wonderful. If we don't have love, then law will not be helpful. It can actually be problematic. So love is what is essential. So this is what I love about Pakistan, is that I understand that Pakistan is that place, for whatever reason, I don't know. Pakistan was created, I guess, with this purpose really, that here is where love would be established. Here is where pure harmony, unity, truthfulness, believe it or not, transparency, not corruption, transparency will be established, and justice and harmony and taking care of all members of the society. That's really what Islam means. It means the Holy Prophet, peace be on him, set that example of a society where the poor and weak are especially taken care of, widows and orphans, and whoever needs help is given full assistance and support. So this is what Pakistan means to me, and this is why I love Pakistan so much, and this is why I look forward with such optimism to the future of Pakistan, which people are sometimes surprised. Why are you so optimistic about Pakistan? It doesn't look like that to me. No, this is why I see Pakistan in this light, because of that spiritual inspiration or guidance that I have been given. So we have a question, Saima Aziz Mirza. Have you ever encountered a negative polarity ET? Hardly ever. I guess the answer really is not really. I am aware of their presence sometimes, but they have never been able to really frighten me very much. A little bit. But I immediately take shelter of the holy name of God, and they are dissipated, they go away. So that's a very powerful practice. It's not easy sometimes, but I have been fortunate not to have really forcefully encountered negative polarity ETs. Junaid Mia, so you are Punjabi. You know Punjabi? Aho, mainu Punjabi aandi. Bachpan mein utthe rahe. I've told the story several times. My mother told me the very first word that I ever spoke, because they're in Khanewal, where I lived from the time I was 2.5 months old, we had chickens in our compound. So I was meeting with the Punjabi children and other Punjabis who were there. So the very first word I ever spoke was kukkad, a word that an ordinary non-Pakistani or non-Punjabi would have trouble even speaking, arda. But the very first word I spoke was a Punjabi word. So I know some Punjabi and Urdu, of course, but you can call me Punjabi if you want, but I don't make any discrimination between one part of Pakistan and another, because that has been used as much as they could by the enemies of Pakistan to divide Pakistan. The Sindhis against Punjabis, against Baluchis, against Pathans, against whoever they could create a separate group and put people against each other. So I don't try to identify myself as a Punjabi, although I guess I am in one sense, but let us identify ourselves as Pakistanis, as servants of the land of the pure, which has a very wonderful, glorious mission to establish in the world pure Islam, the truth of love and peace. Sir, you have a very big heart. That's why we love you. Thank you very much. I'm trying to act that way. Yazim Imtiaz Awan. Sir, how you entered into spirituality, I mean how you inspired so much. Oh, that is a long story. I will be happy to tell that story. Wow. It would take hours and hours. So let me look at any other questions, and then if we come to the end of the questions, I'll come back to that. Otherwise, I will talk about that in more detail, perhaps in another class, because it would take many hours, really. I may give a short version in a minute. Let me just see about any other. Can you speak Pashto? No, I do not know Pashto. How much time you spent in KPK? I have only spent a very short time in KPK, several visits. When I was a child, we did sometimes visit, and not only did we go to Peshawar, we went to Swat also, one of the most beautiful places in the world I've ever been. So we passed through KPK then, and from the 1980s, 1990s, I visited a number of times, and then just last year, I visited Peshawar again. So, but each time I visited, it was only for a few days or a week at the most, so not very much time in KPK. Can we lecture on time frame, please? I had done the research and surprised that even inside our Earth, there are some places where there is no time framework. Okay, I will be happy to talk about time. It's a very important subject, and I've talked about it before, but the basic point I would say about time is that we are inside time, you can say that word. We have accepted the framework of time that we're living in as a sort of collective illusion, even you might say, or a collective hypnosis. And it has a very good purpose to be inside of time. God and spiritual beings are outside of time. So, and another thing about time that's very important to understand is that as a result of time travel experiments, people learned this lesson the hard way too, that there are different timelines. That is, just like there are different paths. Let's give the example of a river. A river is flowing. A river can, especially at a delta, and when it comes near the ocean and very flat land, or elsewhere also, when the land is flat, the river can divide into different streams, like in a delta. And it may come back together again also. So time is actually more like that. We can create different timelines, different time frames. And those time frames then can be followed for some time, but ultimately they snap back. Ultimately they snap back into place, you might say, that everyone ends up on the same timeline eventually, which is the timeline of love. But there are opportunities for people to pursue their own desires and create separate timelines. So Shakil Sahib says here that even inside our Earth there are some places where there is no time framework. That's interesting. I hadn't heard that before. I know there are places within our planet, inside the Earth, where people live. Great civilizations exist there also. It's possible that some of them are outside of time, I guess, but I didn't know that. But there are many different time frames, and in fact on different planets and different dimensions, this is well known from many different sources, that time goes at different speeds, you might say, also. So time is much more complicated than we usually are taught, as time being just a single monotonous or scheduled time. There are different. Time is a very complex subject, and it's a sort of artificial creation. Not false, but it's a true creation, but it's kind of artificial. It's not ultimate. That is, ultimate reality is outside of time. Time is a sort of drama that is created in order for us to enter and experience and learn things. All right, let's see. Well, there are a lot of comments that I'm not going to take up here. Allah makes our Pakistan away from the enemies of humanity, Zain Khan Dirojan has written. Yes, there's no doubt God is protecting Pakistan. As Quaid-e-Azam said, no power on earth can undo Pakistan. So that is my conviction also, that God is protecting Pakistan. There are many Pakistani enemies surrounding Pakistan and trying to subvert Pakistan, trying to cut up Pakistan, trying to destroy Pakistan. They've been doing this for many years. They have not been able to succeed. Of course, you may say East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, was divided. That is true. But the real Pakistan, as I've explained before, is the land along the Indus River. And that is the place where Islam-e-Pak will be reestablished, inshallah. You should change your name like Islamic, Abbas Khan writes. Well, I do have a Muslim name, Ali, which a friend of mine and a great Sufi teacher in Lahore gave me. And so if you want to call me that, you can. Some people call me Ali. But I have decided that I will mainly use the name Alan for many reasons. The main reason is because that is the name that I can use to most successfully accomplish the work that I have been given, which is not only for Muslims. As I understand it, my purpose in life is to help not only Pakistan, but not only Muslims, but Christians, Hindus, Buddhists, Sikhs, especially, and also Jews and Jains, and there are so many religions. So if I had one name attached with one religion, as the name Ali would attach me with Islam, then other people would misunderstand that I belong to only one Islamic religion and I don't belong to other religions too. But I identify myself with all religions. I don't have any preference for one over the other. That's why I'm keeping the name that I had from birth. Kamran Zafar, do the Pleiadians believe in God? How are all the non-terrestrial human races spiritually connected? Also, do they experience death like we do? Good questions. Yes, Pleiadians believe in God. As I've said before in this class, all the extraterrestrials that I know of, they're aware of the presence of the original source of everything. They have different ideas sometimes about what God is, what is the nature of God, but everyone seems to be aware that there is a supreme power, there is a one single original source of everything, and whether you call that Allah or God, whatever name you use, it is one supreme source of everything. And how are all the non-terrestrial races spiritually connected? Yes, we are all spiritually connected, just like brothers and sisters are connected in a family. Human beings are all connected as the children of Adam. All living entities, all beings throughout the universe, throughout not only our galaxy but all other galaxies, all other dimensions, all other densities of existence, we are all spiritually connected because we are all coming from the same one source. So we're all members of the one family of all living beings, not only the family of humanity, but the family of all, the universal family of intelligent life. And also, do they experience death like we do? Some extraterrestrials experience death similarly to the way we do. Others do not. That is, they may sever the connection with their body willingly and at their choice. They're not forced to die at any time. And many of them live for thousands, maybe even millions of years. But they do eventually have to leave the body, as I understand it. There are some people who have a teaching, which may be true, I don't know about it very much, that you can spiritualize your body and that body can be actually transmuted into spiritual existence, and then you wouldn't ever have to die from that body. I really don't know very much about it. There are stories about such people. Even in the Bible we have mentioned, for example, of Enoch and of Ezekiel. They say that they did not die. So I guess it's possible. There are traditions like that, especially in Tibet. They say hundreds of thousands of people have transmuted their body, changed their body into what they call the rainbow body, which may be eternal, I don't know. But so death is an experience that people undergo in different ways. Usually everyone dies like we do on Earth, but mostly without the fear that many people on Earth experience, because they have a better understanding that when you leave the body, you don't die. It's just that you are going from one room into another room, basically. It's not a cause of fear for many, many people. Most extraterrestrials are much better aware of this than people on Earth are. Okay. Oh boy, we have a lot more comments here. Let me see if I can go through any of these quickly. I love time travel. Mirko Sique Lombardo from Italy is saying, I love time travel and different timelines. Can you read this comment? Yes, I've seen your comment. Ahmed Taleb, sir, if you have time, can you please give quick revise of yesterday class because maybe I missed something important. Well, I deleted the class because in the class I was speaking, I realized I had been influenced by propaganda spreading fear about some of the leading politicians in the United States and the sort of activities they engage in, which are very horrible, criminal, satanic activities. So I decided I didn't want to be part of that, spreading that sort of fear. So I deleted that, and I don't really want to talk about that subject. Where are you now? I am in Esparto in Northern California, near Sacramento. Gianne Mtiaz, how did you find truth? I mean, how did you get started your journey towards the truth? So that's the same question, basically, that was asked earlier about my spiritual journey. So I will come to that now. Let me just answer this first. Jawed Ansari, this is the last question I'm going to take. How can we get in touch with the wise and good aliens? Very good question, and the answer, very simple. I've given several times. There are two things to do. One is to be kind, loving, truthful, and the other thing is to pray and meditate. Those two basic instructions I've always given. I've always felt those are the most important things to do, and that will prepare us for receiving the visit of extraterrestrials. It usually starts in dreams and in meditation before there's any actual physical appearance, but that's up to them, not up to us. Okay, so now I'm going to go to this question about my spiritual journey. Our time is about up, so I'm going to make this quick. I was born, as I said, in South Asia, in India, and I lived for the first 18 years of my life in Pakistan. I went to school in India, actually. My parents were Christian missionaries, and there was a good American missionary school in India, in Mussoorie, where I was born. And so I went to school there and went back and forth between India and Pakistan every year, except for a few years when we were in the United States for a year off, a year of furlough. So by going back and forth between India and Pakistan, I had a very interesting educational experience because I could see how different and how opposite the news was about what was happening. It was, very, very contrary information was being published by the Indian and by Pakistani newspapers. And I was sort of, in the beginning, bewildered and disturbed and puzzled by this. But then I decided, and this really was the purpose of my life during my youth, I felt I want to dedicate my life to resolving these differences, not only between India and Pakistan, although especially, but between different religious teachings, Hinduism and Islam, Christianity and Buddhism. I saw there were so many differences. So even as a young person, in my teens, I made this decision that what I wanted to do with my life was to work for peace between different countries who are fighting with each other, and understanding and harmony amongst different religions that are having contrary teachings. So, well, I had a mentor named Alan Hunter. Actually, he was a Christian minister who was my parents' mentor, and they named me after him. And I met him sometimes, and he taught me some very important things. He was a pacifist, so I learned this importance of peace from him, as well as my parents, the stressing of peace. And he also let me know that there's a phrase in English called the communion of saints. So that I always thought it was some sort of a metaphor. But he led me to understand that no, it's real. There actually are saints that exist in heaven, you can say, or in another dimension, and they are real, and we can actually be in touch with them. So that was a very important thing that I understood in my youth. And later I met different spiritual teachers from different traditions. As I've written on my website, I had a guru who was from India, and he taught me a lot also, and the importance of the name of God especially. And then probably the most significant thing that happened to me in terms of where I'm at right now was in the 1982, 83, 84, I was in Pakistan, and I had several strange people, mystical people, wonderful people that I met. Some I met physically, others I met in meditation, others I met by going into different dimensions, or it was a very strange experience or two that I had. Just very, very quickly, I will tell a couple of them. When I was in Rawalpindi once, I met a Sufi who taught me that you can pray this Darud Ibrahimi that I've repeated several times this morning, and I often do, every day I do actually. And he said, if you repeat this repeatedly, you will attain the ziyarat of the Holy Prophet, peace be on him. He said, I am giving you this power. I got it from my murshid, the special blessing that if you give this to somebody, they will attain this. So he gave that to me, and I did repeat that. That time I didn't know it. He wrote it down for me, and I did have a vision, you can say, of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, that was very wonderful and very clear to me that I should be very happy and go on with my life. He told me, go on doing what you were doing. And I've told that story before. So he was encouraging me to continue on this journey. And I've told the story when I was in Ghotki, and this spiritual personality came to me and told me how Pakistan is that place where pure Islam will be reestablished. And then perhaps the most amazing story of all was, I'll have to take a few minutes to tell this one, and I'm just seeing the clock, my time is up, but I was in Lahore going to Karachi. This is December of 1984, and a young man sat beside me, and as the train started going, we began talking, first just small talk in Urdu. He didn't know English, and how are you and everything. Aap kaise hain, kahan ja rahe hain, vagera, aise we talked. And he was going to Multan, and I told him I'm going to Karachi, and so we were just chatting like this, and then he stopped. He became silent, and then he said, please forgive me, but I have to give you a message. I have to say something to you. So that was kind of strange, but I was looking at him, and he said, if you want, you can meet the great Sufis. So because of the way he was speaking, I think he maybe even pointed up to the sky like he's getting a message from the spirit or something. I thought of him as a little crazy, actually. I didn't think that he was an ordinary sane person, because he started talking like in a different tone of voice. He changed his tone of voice. And so I kind of indicated, well, I'm not, he understood that I was not being receptive to what he was wanting to tell me. So, but I had been praying a lot at that time. I felt like I needed some spiritual guidance, and I had been praying a lot for some spiritual guide to come to me. And so I suddenly realized this might be the answer to my prayer. So I turned to him again and I said, I'm sorry, I would like to hear what you want to say. So then he told me that we can meet the great Sufis, and if you like, I can, help you do that. So I was interested. So we had a very nice conversation, a long conversation. And when we reached Multan, he, of course, was getting out of the train. I, at that time, had very little money, actually. I had enough money to buy the ticket to Karachi, but I didn't have much more money than that. So, but still, as he was saying goodbye and started walking away, I suddenly thought, wait, I'd better go with him, because I do want to do what he's talking about, meeting great Sufis. So I called after him. I said, wait, I'm coming with you. I gathered my things very quickly and jumped off the train and followed him. And the next morning, I won't go into details, but he took me to several shrines of different Sufi saints, and he taught me how to have ziyarat. And it entailed buying some incense and some flower garlands and some little white sweet, and then going into the shrine, lighting the incense, putting flower garlands on the grave, and distributing the sweets to the other visitors to the shrine, and then sitting and meditating. So we did this in several of the shrines. Bahauddin Zakaria was one of them, of course, and the last one that we came to was Baba Shams. And in that shrine, actually in the other shrines, as we sat and meditated, I felt great peace, and he asked me, did you see anything? I said no. Did you feel anything? I said yes. And it was becoming increasingly intense. And when we came to Baba Shams' shrine, we did the same thing, buying the incense and flower garlands and pratasha, I think it's called, that's white sweet, and lighting that, and then we sat and meditated. And as we were meditating there, he said, repeat, Allah Shams, Allah Shams, Allah Shams, Allah Shams. So I was doing that, and then in my vision, that is not outside, but within my vision, very clearly in front of me and slightly above me, I saw this pair of beautiful golden feet. Very beautiful. And I was just astonished, and I was looking at them very intently when he tapped me on the shoulder and said, look, across on the other side of the shrine there was a man sitting. A younger man, maybe in his 30s he looked like. So he said, that is somebody very special. So just at that time, after a moment or minute or two, he got up. That man got up and walked by us, because we were with our backs to the door and he was on the other side of the shrine. So as he was walking out, he walked right by me, and I glanced at his feet and I said, oh my, that's the very same feet that I was seeing in my meditation. So I thought, I have to follow him, so I have to talk to him. So I went after him, and he went out of the shrine into the courtyard, and there was a little mosque there, very small, and so I followed him into the mosque, just 5 or 6 steps after him, and when I came into the mosque, he was not there, nobody was there, it was empty. And I was astonished, I was shocked. There was no window that he could have gotten out of, and so I went back to that young man and I told him what had happened, and he said, oh yes, they do that all the time. I said, what? He explained that they go to Mecca or Medina from Multan just in 1 second by their mystic travel. And he wasn't at all surprised at that. So when that happened, I was willing to follow his guidance and advice, and he took me to the house of his murshid, who had lived for many years in the desert and who was a disciple, a great Sufi. And boy, I see my time is up. I'm going to have to tell the rest of this story in detail later, but let me just say that eventually I ended up in Pakpatan and at the shrine of Baba Farid, and there the same I did on my own, of course, now, buying the incense and the garland and the sweets and distributing them. And as I completed that, sat in meditation, I heard a voice in my mind saying, go sit outside under a large tree there and meditate there. And when you open your eyes, you will see the answer to your prayers. So I did that. When I opened my eyes, there was a elderly man sitting there with a long, thin, wispy white beard, very spiritual. I bowed down before him and told him that I had been needing a spiritual guide, and would he become my spiritual guide. And eventually he told me, you don't need another spiritual guide. You have your teacher, he will help you, he will guide you. So that is a brief story. The last chapter, which is very important, perhaps the most important one in terms of where I'm right now and what I'm doing right now, is that I felt I was guided to a conference which was taking place in New Mexico in the United States about six and a half years ago now, And again, this is a long story, how I just sort of on intuition I went there, and when I arrived there I also received a message to go down to the main conference room, so I did that, and there were two women playing on drums and singing, and I joined them in the singing, and it was very, very rapturous. I had a deep, deep spiritual experience. Perhaps, although I've chanted names of God all my life and had many rapturous experiences, this was unique, very special and powerful. And it turned out, then I was given the guidance that this woman who was leading the chanting, she would become my spiritual guide. So for the past 6 years, I have been trying to follow her guidance, and she is now my good wife, and Kalili is the name that I knew her by, because she is a Native American shaman or medicine woman, and so that's why I'm here now. And under her guidance, I actually made the decision yesterday that when she saw that video, she said that this is full of fear and it's not very good, so I agreed with her and deleted that. So I do accept her guidance as much as I can. And that's a brief story of my spiritual journey, and I'm still now proceeding, trying to do my best to follow the guidance that I've been given, and to help above all Pakistan become the land of the pure, where pure Islam will be reestablished, where love and truth, peace, harmony, unity, justice, kindness, consideration, and taking care of all members of society will be established, inshallah, in the near future. Okay, thank you very much. I've gone about 10 minutes over my time, but I did want to share that story because it is a very important story, and I had 2 questions about it, so I look forward to seeing you. Tomorrow is Saturday. We will have an Urdu chat at this time, and thank you all very much. May God protect us all.